So what if I told you guys you can now sleep, you can drink, you can eat food, you can cook food, you can also fake your death in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now ladies and gentlemen, we have a shit ton of information that was just revealed by Ubisoft regarding the Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay features, and some of these features are absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to be loving it. Now this information is coming from the ones who came before. Now these guys are Assassin's Creed dedicated bloggers, so it seems like Colin Blackett from the ones who came before actually interviewed the Assassin's Creed Valhalla's game director Eric Baptizat, who has now revealed a shit ton of gameplay information, all the gameplay details we ever asked for about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now one of the most interesting questions that Cole asked Eric was that can Eivor eat, drink, sleep and bathe in the game? To which Eric answered that in fact Eivor can nearly do all of that. Eating is becoming a very important element, as you will need to eat food and regain some health. Collecting berries or hunting animals for food is essential for your survival. You can also eat mushrooms in wilderness, but there could always be some risk involved in it. Now Eivor could also sleep in the settlement to regenerate some health and wake up later in the day. In the settlement and in the cities and villages, you'll be able to drink and even participate in some drinking challenges. Now the only element which you cannot do in the game is bathing. If you feel the need to refresh yourself after a fight, you can just jump into the water anytime you want, and it will get the job done of removing all the blood spatters as well as dust in your bodies. Now listen guys, this is the one feature that I was really excited to see Assassin's Creed implement in the recent games. None of the Assassin's Creed games in the past have implemented any sorts of eating or drinking or sleeping or all of that kind of mechanics in the game. What the f? Now wait a second, maybe I am wrong actually. Assassin's Creed Black Flag had the drinkable option where you could drink ale in some of the villages or stores in the open world. So I believe that feature has already been added into Assassin's Creed. Now if you guys watched my previous Assassin's Creed video, now we particularly talked about this particular Instagram story which Assassin's Creed posted on their Instagram page, where they basically showed Eivor hunting down a deer using a bow, and they literally changed up to a scene where Eivor is sitting in a cave and there is some kind of a food being cooked on the fireplace. And like I suspected before, you will be able to cook food in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you can also eat that food in order to regenerate your health. Very similar to what we have seen with Red Dead Redemption, where you had this camp where people could basically cook food, or you can cook your own food as well, and once you eat them your cores get filled in and also your health regenerates, which is a very interactive stuff that I absolutely loved from Red Dead Redemption. And I'm really happy to see those features being brought into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And we're also going to be able to sleep in this game, which means you can now go into your settlement, which is of course your camp, and you will be able to sleep there. So you can also select the amount of time you want to be sleeping in the game, which means that the game's time zone will fast forward all the way to the time you set for Eivor to wake up. So that is a really cool stuff, which is also what we already saw in games like Red Dead Redemption 2. Now cleaning yourself with water is something that we've already seen in previous Assassin's Creed games. So if you've ever been to a fight, or if Eivor is really dirty enough, so you can just jump into some kind of pond or lake of water or whatever, and Eivor will basically cleanse himself and will look fresh as fuck. Now Cole here comes back with another clutch question, asking if the hidden blades in the game can be used in combat, as we saw earlier in games like Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4, to which Eric replied that the hidden blades cannot be used as a single weapon in combat. Now our combat system puts the focus on the dual wielding possibilities and allows the players to experiment with a larger variety of weapon combinations. By deciding which weapon you put on your right and the left hand, you can also create some very unique fighting strategies by just placing different kind of weapons in your hand. For example, you can even choose to have multiple shields in your hand, so you're not going to be having any kinds of weapons. You're going to be fighting enemies with just your shields, which is absolutely amazing. Now in one of my old videos, someone from the comment section basically asked me if you will be able to fight with the hidden blades in this game, because from the cinematic trailer what we saw was that Eivor used his hidden blade during the mid combat, which led a lot of people to think if maybe we will be able to use the hidden blades during the mid combat sessions. And the answer to that is pretty simple. Hidden blades are of course going to be hidden, so you're going to be using that for assassinations only. You're not going to be able to use this as a single weapon in the combat, of course, which has now been thankfully answered by Eric. Now Cole here also asks about the Fiend Death ability, which can be used in this game, which is something that the developers tried to boast a lot about, on how this feature in this game is going to be absolutely unique from any of the Assassin's Creed games that we have played before. Now for those of you guys who don't know what the Fiend Death means, it is basically faking your death. So let's say for example you're playing as Eivor and there's a shit ton of enemies right in front of you, and you don't want to be going into combat with these guys, So you can basically just fake your death by just lying on the floor and making your enemies feel like you're actually dead and you're not in any position to fight them. So you can also use this in order to lure your enemies, which is what Eric here says. Now Eric here says that the feign death ability can be used anytime once you have acquired it, which means that you will have to unlock this skill from your skill tree. So it's going to be a skill which you can unlock in the game. Now he says that it will make Eivor fall on the ground and fake his death. Now you can also use it anywhere and anytime you want, in the middle of the fight, in the streets, even alone in the wilderness if you want. If that is something you guys like to do, fake your death in the wilderness, well, you can absolutely do that, I guess. Now outside of the strategic advantage to escape a fight or to lure an enemy towards you to assassinate them, the fun part about this ability is that you can play with your enemies and civilians' reactions. Be careful though, as you may not be able to fool someone twice, which means that the enemies are going to be aware if you try to fake death, and if they see you faking death, then they're not going to be falling for the same trick twice. Now let's say for example you're in a combat situation and you're fighting some kind of a really tough boss and you're struggling to beat this guy, so all you can do is basically act like you're dead all of a sudden, and he's gonna believe that you're dead for the first time, of course. So as he approaches you while you're fallen down on the ground, you can basically turn around and assassinate him, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And faking death in this game is something we've already seen in one of the cinematic trailers, where this huge dude thinks that he actually is killing Eivor right there, because Eivor here in this scene acts like he's pretty much dead and has absolutely no strength or whatsoever. So when this huge guy gets distracted, Eivor goes in for the assassination kill with the hidden blades, which by the way blew my mind when I was watching the reveal trailer. And I would love to see how this feature is going to be working out in the actual game, because we did not get to see this feature in the beta testing version, where a lot of creators actually got to play this game early. So we're only going to be able to see this feature once the game comes out, or maybe once Ubisoft decides to give us another brand new gameplay, and maybe they decide to add in this feature in the gameplay as well. That will be really cool to see how this feature is going to be working out. Now Eric here also says that the story of this game is inspired by a lot of Viking books, movies and TV shows, of course. If you guys haven't seen the Vikings TV show, I would highly recommend it. The show is currently running on Netflix if you guys live in the European region, but if you're from the American region, then I believe you can actually watch this show from the Hulu website. I don't really know, I'm not really sure, but just make sure you guys go do your research. But just make sure that you guys watch Vikings TV show before you start playing this game, because like Eric and Cole say here, this game is actually inspired by TV shows like Vikings and The Last Kingdom. So if you guys have already watched this show, or if you're a fan of any of the Viking movies or books, then this game would obviously make a lot more sense to you guys more than any of the casual gamers that basically get into the story and try to play Assassin's Creed for the first time. Now Eric also says that we will be having a lot of historical events, because history is something they actually put as the main source of inspiration for this game. So a lot of historical Viking stuff is going to be present in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now lads, we have a lot more of gameplay information for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now of course I don't want to squeeze all of this information and throw it at your faces, so what I'm doing is I'm splitting all of these gameplay details in different video formats. So I'm going to be dropping multiple videos of Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay details, because there is shit ton of details that I haven't really covered in this video. So of course there's going to be a lot of details about this game coming up on my channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because I upload daily content on Assassin's Creed Valhalla every single day, of course. So if this game is something that you guys are interested in, then make sure to go ahead and subscribe, and also make sure you guys go ahead and turn that little bell notification on so YouTube can notify you when I upload my daily videos. Now with that being said, if you guys want to support me and my content, then you can always make sure to go ahead and drop a like on my videos, so that really helps me out and also helps the YouTube algorithm. So all I ask from you guys is basically leave a like, and also let me know in the comments on what of the gameplay feature do you guys like the most from what we have discussed so far. Do you like cooking? Do you like eating? What kind of features are you guys excited for in Assassin's Creed Valhalla? And also if you guys have any suggestions on what Ubisoft should be adding in, any kind of new features in the game, also let me know in the comments down below. So if Ubisoft is watching this video, this comment section could absolutely be helpful to all of these developers. Now with that being said, I hope you guys have a blast of a day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy fams, and goodbye.
It's only game. Why you have to be mad?